What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am here today to talk to you guys. I'm not going to do the talking, actually. Daniel Laskowitz, MVP, conference crusher, is actually going to do the talking today. And he's going to tell you about the new approvals. He's going to show you the new actions, talk about how they work, and even do some practical demos to show you how to create some magic. Daniel, I'm stoked to have you here, bro. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, and from there, go ahead and just take it away. And don't mind if I jump in and ask questions, all right?
No, sure.
All right,
Okay,
right on.
so
Let's do this.
yeah, let's start with the presentation.
All right, let's do it.
So we're going to talk about the Flow Approvals V2 because they have been released a while back. I think it was January,
Was it that long
something
ago
like that.
already? Man,
I
that's
think
sad.
it's January or something.
Time
Well,
flies.
so the agenda for today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the history because, actually, I created an approval flow 3 years ago. So it was during the time that Flow was still in preview, and it has come a long way, actually. But we're going to
Such a
talk about
long
that a
way.
little bit later.
Yeah.
After that, I'm going to talk about the approvals V2, and I'll show some demos. And after that, I will, of course, talk about the wishes, because there always got to be wishes, right? Do
That's
you have
right.
some wishes?
I have lots of wishes, Daniel.
Okay, so let's move on. History. In 2016, it's 3 years ago actually. It shows it right here. I
Yeah.
created a blog post about holiday requests with Microsoft Flow, and I actually watched the Future of SharePoint event, and then I saw people talking about Microsoft Flow when it was in preview. And I thought of that. Well, every HR scenario you have, you can do that with Microsoft Flow, of course. So I tried one of the most well-known HR processes for holiday requests, and I tried to build that in Microsoft Flow. And that was actually pretty easy. So what did I have as approvals? Well, it kind of looked like this. And this is really a long time ago.
Man, that
Um,
old editor was so ugly.
yeah, I was preparing this presentation, and then I saw these pictures, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't show them again, okay?
Yeah, never again. This is it now. Don't show him
uh,
again after this.
well, maybe in 20 years or something, I show everybody like Grandpa says. No. So yeah, well, you had to send an approval email action, and you could have a subject, some user options, and I put in there approve and reject, and you can send it to an email. That was actually the approvals in 2016. After that, you had to configure a condition because you wanted to know which option was selected. And it's actually the same way you would do an approval nowadays. You would just create a condition for when the selected option is equal to approve, and then you have a yes path and a no path, and then you can configure some actions after that. So I sent some emails, and this is kind of the same way you would create it right now. In 2017, modern approvals came. So we had the approvals connector available, and you could select an approval type. You could, for instance, assign a list of people to the approval, and then you could say approval type is anyone from the assigned list, and then the first one who would approve or reject would actually decide on what's
They win the
happening.
race.
Yeah, and everyone from the assigned list is, of course, when you have to have a whole group of people to agree with the approval. So that's, for instance, really handy when you have a board of directors and everybody has to approve on something.
And I would
So
imagine that this is the mode, this is what everyone is most used to. Most Flow users, I bet, have seen this experience. And
yeah,
so, yeah,
yeah, I think so too. Because the other one, well, there is actually still another action available for the approval email. You can still send an email with options. So that's kind
right.
of the old school look and feel I showed before, right?
But that one doesn't have any auth. It's very basic. It's
Yeah,
just a and it could be forwarded on so other people
yeah,
could click it, and so it's
exactly.
quite
So you
basic.
really want to use this one. Well, then there was approvals V2, and that was in January this year. And we got a whole lot of other actions available. Not just start and wait for an approval. You can see that still here in the approval actions. But we got a lot of V2 actions. We got create an approval. We got start and wait for an approval V2. And we got wait for an approval. And I'll demo that a little bit later. But what's actually really cool is when you create start and wait for an approval, V2, you can have some more approval types. We used to have everyone must approve and just anybody must approve. And now we also have custom responses. So that's really interesting because a lot of people are asking for that because they want to have yeah, like a form-based kind of thingy. So you want to have like multiple options or A, B, C, D or something like that. And that's available for everybody right now. And there's one quirk. You have to pay for it. It's P1. And I think a lot of people in the Flow community were asking for it. And I think it's totally legit to have custom responses in P1 because it creates a lot of value for you. So I think it's yeah, a lot of companies won't have a problem with that.
Well, and P1s are only $5 a month, right? And that's
Yeah,
at the maximum price. If you are buying
yeah,
a lot of them, you can negotiate with your EA and even talk that down. We're talking less than a cup of coffee a month per person to
yeah,
have custom approval types.
yeah. And there's lots more in there. Of course, you have CDS and all
Totally.
other stuff. So that's really cool. Okay, so let's start with the
Yeah.
demo
Right
because
on.
I always like to go and show everybody what's it actually about. Um, so my last video with you, I created an event flyer. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah,
that
the
was with
Word
the
doc.
Word Online connector. Yeah,
Yep.
the doc gem. So I expanded that flow and what I actually did was I created a SharePoint list, and when an item is created in that list, the flow triggers. Then it will configure some dates because you want, for instance, a short date for the file you're going to generate, and you want a display date for the event flyer,
Got
so
it.
it looks all pretty. And then after that, um, I created an action called start and wait for an approval. And then um, there were multiple outcomes. So we had a custom approval, and I created three different custom responses. Yes, yes, but with edits, and no. So what people actually do is create a list item, they request a flyer, an event flyer, and then a manager will get the approval and they can say, well, yes, I agree, this is perfect. Yes, I have some edits, and no, you don't get the flyer. And then after the manager did the approval, there's a switch case for all the custom cases. Because normally we used to have a condition, of course, because
Yep.
it only had two different options. You had approve and reject. But now we have more options, and they are also custom. So you need to have a switch case for that. So let's go to the demo, and I'll show you how it actually works.
Right on.
So here we go. This is the demo. So I have the when an item is created action. I get the date. Start and wait for an approval is the action we're using. And it actually shows the approval type here. And that's the custom responses. Wait for one response, premium. So I had some response options here. Yes, but with edits, yes and no. And I can add some other responses if I want. I can also delete them. I can also switch to input entire array. So this is really interesting when you want to dynamically get the response options from another data source. So if you have something in SQL or you have something in another database, for instance CDS, and you want to get all the different responses, you can use them in here.
Ooh, I didn't even know about that. That's like a
Yeah.
hidden gem that I wasn't even aware of. Nice.
Yeah, the normal fields, they are also available. So you have the title here, so you can have a title for your approval. You can assign them to someone. I assign them to my manager in here. You have details here, so you can use the markdown text here. And I created the item link here because I want the manager to be in control of the edits. So when he or she doesn't like the flyer now, they can actually click on the link and they can edit the SharePoint item, and then they can say yes, but with edits, and then it will automatically update that item, and it will generate a document.
What? Oh my gosh. Okay, that is
That's what
legit.
I'm actually doing in the switch case.
That's
Because
that's sweet.
yeah, so I have the switch case here. It switches on the outcome. That's actually
That's
one of
new
the
because
properties I get. Yeah,
yeah, that's new because it used to be response, right? Now it's
yeah,
outcome.
yeah. So I have a couple of cases here. I have a yes case, and on yes, it will populate the template. It will create a work file. It will convert the Word document to PDF. It will create a PDF in a SharePoint document library. It will send the event flyer to the requester, and it will update the item so that the status is yes, actually.
That's rad.
The yes, but with edits is almost the same, but it has some different stuff in there because I don't know if you remember, but the manager has to be able to edit the item. So that's why when the manager actually chose the yes, but with edits outcome, then I get the updated SharePoint item. So then I can have the new values in there.
Okay.
I update the date again because I have to overwrite the ones I did here.
Got it.
Because they could have changed the date, for instance. Then it populates the template and it does actually almost everything the same, except the item at the end, it will get updated. The status will get updated to yes with edit. So that's a little bit different here. Next, I also have a no. And when no, it will just send an email to the requester and it updates the item to no. So let's go
Nice.
to the SharePoint side and I'll create a new item here. So let's call this an awesome event. Let's pick a date. So I think the 10th is an amazing event in Atlanta, right?
That's right.
So let's call a subtitle. We have some good text for here.
Yeah. This event will knock your socks off.
It will knock your socks off. Okay. The status is new. And the time, when will we start with the event? Early?
Yeah, probably early. You got to get to the keynote. It's about 8 a.m., right?
A.M.?
9
Or
a.m. Yeah, that's good. You could skip the
way
keynote.
too, oh, way too early. I'll just put in 9 because
All right.
then I can do the yes, but with edits scenario. So
There you
let's
go.
save this one. Now I have to switch because I have to go to my manager. Let's switch to my manager.
Wow, look at all those profiles.
Yeah, I've got a lot. I've got a lot of customers, and
Holy cow.
so here we are. This is the approval,
Nice.
and as you can see, it doesn't have approve and reject, but it has yes, yes, but with edits, and no. So I've got a link here, request specifics. If I click on that, it will open the item, and I'm gonna review it. So I have an awesome event here. It will knock your socks off, and I have a time here. But the time is gonna be 8 a.m. I have to correct that. So I correct it and I saved it. Now I close my SharePoint item. I click yes, but with edits. I can fill in a reason. For
Keynotes
instance,
at 8.
keynote is at 8, and then I'll submit it. So now I submitted it, and I can go back to my own profile. I'll open Outlook because there's something coming here. It's already there, actually. It shows me your event flyer is ready after edits. I can view the awesome event, and it will really knock your socks off. And it changed the date or the time actually to 8 a.m.
That
So
is so cool.
that's what happened.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool, right?
Totally.
Um, so let me edit the flow again. And show the advanced options because I haven't talked about that yet. There's actually a requester field. And that requester field, I believe a lot of people don't know about that because it's always hidden. But if you show the advanced options, you have the possibility to insert a requester. And if you do that, the approval will show something differently. So let me show you how that works. I'm gonna insert my name in here. I'm gonna save it again, and I'll
Whoa.
create a different
I
one.
did I did not know about this either.
No?
No. So this
Okay.
solves a lot of people's problems because so many people ask about, hey, when an approval gets made, it comes from the person that made the flow instead of me.
Yeah.
And so now we can dynamically put that person's information in and make the approval come from them.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man, how did I not know about this? Oh my gosh, this is epic. You are such a stud. This is epic.
so let me wait for a little moment, and it should show me the request actually. And now you can see it's requested by Daniel Laskowitz.
Yeah.
And it didn't show that before. Yeah, I already
Yeah.
responded to that, so it doesn't show it really well. But it actually shows an image, it shows your name, it shows an email address. So that's really interesting. What
Mind blown. Oh my gosh.
a lot of people will still be like, yeah, I also wanted to come from Daniel instead of Microsoft Flow.
Right.
But
Right.
for me, this is actually a great improvement. So it's already
It's a step in the right direction.
actually it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me just finish this one off really easy. So click yes and submit. And then I will get the event flyer. So here it is. And it will show me
Nice.
the event. And it actually has a different name here, of course, because of the switch case. It doesn't have the after edits part in there. So
Nice.
this is really a simple scenario for you, and I think a lot of people will benefit from this.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, even if they're not making flyers, right? Anyone who's
Mhm.
doing any sort of dynamic document generation from a Power
Yeah.
App, from a form, from
Hmm.
SharePoint, from anywhere can
Yeah.
totally use this. This is epic. This was a great
Hmm.
demo, man. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's go to the second demo.
All right.
And I'm only gonna demo this because we're kind of we're teasing everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
so you gotta tune back in. Me and Daniel are gonna do part two of this where he'll actually build this from scratch with you because I know so many people have asked me, is this possible? How do I do this? And so Daniel's gonna bring it all to you. So you gotta come back
yeah,
in a couple weeks for that one.
yeah. What it actually solves is that a lot of people don't like email. They are like, why should I have approvals in my emails? Of course, Flow solves that because you have your mobile app, the Flow app, and the approvals are already in there. But you're not able to, for instance, say you don't want the email approvals. That's something you can say. Um, so what I did here, I created a relatively simple flow. It has some extra actions because I'm using variables, but I'm triggering my flow manually with the flow button. And then I can fill in a name. And when I fill in the name, that's going to be the name of my approver. So the approver will get actually an email, or sorry, no, not an email. They will get they will get an approval in there, and then yeah, what we actually do is the create an approval action um, will just create an approval and will turn off the notifications. And the notifications will make sure that we don't get an email. And then I will use one of the properties of the create an approval action, and I'll use that as an adaptive card to use it in Teams. So we'll switch on the approvals in Teams instead of the email. So let me show you how that works. So here we go. This is my demo flow. I can go to more and run because this is of course a flow button. And I'll select myself because it's easier for now. And here we are. I click run flow. And I already see a one in front of here because I get a new approval in the flow bot. And now I can approve or reject the approval in here. So let me just approve this and say, stay tuned for how this works. Let's hit it. We're such a tease, right?
I know, right?
So what I actually did is I submitted this, and then I get another card where I get a message: your approval request has been approved by Daniel. Well, that's actually me because I only used myself for the approval. But this is actually how cool it is to use Flow and configure the approvals to be in Teams, because a lot of people would love that.
Yeah,
Don't you,
that's
John?
awesome. I love this. I can't wait for us to demo this. So many people have asked me for
Yeah,
this exact thing.
really cool, right? And it
Really
also
cool.
shows the comments in here. I didn't put it in the response actually. I can do that, but I'll do that the next time when we have the other video with all the actions in there and stuff. So
Okay.
let me switch back to the presentation because this is really cool. But of course, there are some wishes. And I think, John, you already know this because everybody complains to you probably. So what would I like? I would love to have some custom email templates. So you have the approvals powered by Flow in the email. I know lots of people would love to have a company logo in there.
Totally.
So that's something you would, yeah, what would be really cool. And also maybe something like a footer where you can go to the website or something like that. That's also something that lots of people would like.
Gotcha.
The other thing is comments. I always have in the approvals, and they are always optional. I would love to have a setting to, for instance, on the custom responses. I would love to have when they say no, they have to fill in a comment, for instance. But when
Gotcha.
they say yes, it's optional. I
Okay.
would love to have something like that. So I would love to have a setting there to do that.
That makes sense.
And I would love to have configurable notifications. So now you have yes, no for notifications in your approvals. But I would love to have a setting where I can say, well, I want to have the approvals in the Flow app, the mobile app. I want to have it in the email, or I want to have it through the Flow bot in Teams.
Gotcha.
So what I actually did in the last flow, and I'm going to show you later how that actually works, but I don't want to configure that by hand. I just want to have one action, and that's
Yeah.
start an approval and then select whatever I want.
And I think we're getting closer to there, with us making the adaptive cards and having all the pieces in place now where
Yeah,
you can build this yourself. It's only a few more steps for us to stitch it together and make it a native experience. So
yeah,
I do think that's
exactly.
all coming.
Yeah.
But
Do
what
you
I'm
have
going to
some
do is
wishes?
I think actually you've covered them all here. And a
Yeah.
couple wishes I had, you actually just showed me are possible today.
Hmm.
And I'm going to show this video to the Flow team so that they can see the wishes and so they can see your awesomeness putting this together. But also, man, I just can't wait for the community to check this out. They're gonna freak.
Yeah, and of course, I'm gonna put these. Well, a couple of them are already on the Flow IDs forum, but
Nice.
yeah, then they don't have to watch the video, but they just have to, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, if anybody has some wishes, put them on the Flow IDs forum. Um, Twice a year there are release notes, and they nowadays also show that some IDs. Kind of led to the release notes. So in the release notes, you can see some features, and they have links to the IDs forum in there.
Yep.
So that's really cool. They
And
really listen.
so you can find that aka.ms whack flowcom. I'll go ahead and link it in the description
Yeah.
of this video to make it easy for you to get there. Go and share your ideas. Daniel is going to put these in there, so go vote on his ideas. I'll get this all to the team. Daniel, this was amazing, man. Thank you very much for being with us
Yeah, you're
today.
welcome. And I would love to show the other flow, of course, later. But yeah,
Yes.
that's it for now.
All right. Awesome. Well, guys, you heard it. Daniel, do you have any links to share? Should they go and where should people find you?
Well, they can, of course, follow me on Twitter. That's Laskowitz, and yeah, you can always add me on LinkedIn or on the Flow forum. Just let me know whatever you want.
All right, we'll link his Twitter down in the description also. All right, everybody, make sure and show Daniel lots of love. Go give him a follow. Daniel, thanks for being with us today. So, with that, I'm going to close it out. You guys know what to do. Click like, click subscribe. If you're just watching and you don't have a YouTube account, make one so that you can subscribe to the channel and stay with us and get goodness every week. All right, that's it from
Yeah.
us. Much love. See you guys in the next video.